Hello. So I want to do a show on AMidianBorn Book of Silence. This is a pretty big mod. Now I did choose to use the bigger one. There is a smaller one that you can do. It's a 1K. It's still almost 400 megabytes by Jarl Ballin 89, both of them ported by Jarl Ballin 89. Now, let's see. It was originally done by Cabal 120 and the AMidianBorn team. I don't know who all that would be. This is almost 622 megabytes, so let's just say it's about 625 megabytes. Let's see if that holds true for when it's in here, because that's pretty big, so every megabyte counts. Yep, it's about 622 megabytes. I turned off this, which might be conflicting or somehow causing interference, and we're just going to have this. This is our only armor replacer, is the AMidianBorn Book of Silence. Okay, it does armors and weapons. Now I'm going to come in here and make sure that I look at these so that I do the correct ones and show us the correct ones. I may be referring to this several times, but I'm not going to bug you with that too much. So this is similar to Tarshana's version, but this has more in it, okay? So I don't want to mislead you. I had some issues with Tarshana's version, and I may have some issues with this one. It could be that perhaps I have things that is slightly incompatible. My problem with Tarshana's might have been not with Tarshana's, but now that I'm seeing issues, well, actually though, I was not using the same game, so what I was going to say doesn't count. So I don't know why I was having problems with that version, okay? I may have had some other conflict, though, as I was going to say. I was going to point out something else, but I don't think that would be correct. Whereas in that game, that was on the Toaster's machine, I'm not sure what my issues were. I'm not sure what my conflict would have been. However, here I've been using this, and I haven't had any conflict with this particular mod. I've not had any issues or anything with this mod. Now, I have had issues with the body I'm using, and we're going to get into that when I do a show on that. And I'm probably going to drop that body and that texture and everything. So, but that's beside the point. What we want to look at here are these things. I will try to do as much of these as I can, and like I said, I'll refer to this and try to pull up as many of these as possible and try to make sure that I create these, okay? Like Skyforge weapons, I may not create everything, like all the staves, I may not do that, but I'll try to do a lot of this. The Stormcloak Officer armor, I'll try to do a lot of these things, okay? As many as I can. I have Penny standing by at the Skyforge, and she can do those and put those on. I'm also going to check Porthos to see if he may already have all of this, but I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think what I'm remembering is I did this with Tarshana's version on Uther on the Toaster's machine. So I want to try to exclude that from my mind. We're going to do this. I think we're just going to do this with Penny. It'll be fine. You'll still see what they look like. Yeah, you'll still see what they look like. The only difference is they look one way for the girls and one way for the guys. The coloring and everything is going to be the same. There's really not that much variation. So it depends on what you like as to whether or not you'll like this. The main thing is the textures are different. The meshes are not wholly different. There can be some differences, I think. Let's see what it says here. Let's see, weapon textures, armors and weapons. So it sounds like this is weapons and armor textures and not so much meshes, okay? So it's a retexture. From what I've seen, they look pretty good, especially when you don't have another mod that interferes with them, okay? So I had another mod there that was causing some interference. That's my own fault. So we're going to make sure we look at a lot of these, and like I said, it shouldn't take us too long. I just have to go make everything at the Skyforge, and then I will bring us back together there in Whiterun, and we'll take a look at them and see how they look. I will see you there in a minute.
Working.
Alright, so I'm on Penny, and we're at the Skyforge, and I went by this list. The reason I'm showing you the mod here is I went by this list, and I went through, and I made basically about everything I could make on the Skyforge here. I may or may not have made the fur armors. We can do that. I think I have a mod that allows me to do that at the tanning rack, so we'll check that out. But I didn't make, things like the Dragon Priest helms and, some of those odd things. But most of this I went through and made. And let's see, I didn't make like Sun's armor or Ingol's helm. Then I went through the weapons, and I made the weapons. I made what was on this list as best I could. I think I grabbed a silver sword for her, so I'll show you that. And Skyforge weapons, I tried to make those as well. I didn't do a bunch of staves. Let's see, I did do steel. But this is what I based it on. So I'm going to show you most of these things, probably 70-80% of these things, and then that should be enough for you to decide if you like this. Now, I haven't had any issues with this mod, just so you know, so far. So we're going to try this on and see what happens. So I've just got Penny for no real reason. We'll switch her to a guy and try some of those too. But just a quick rundown first on the weapons, because the weapons aren't going to change. Doesn't matter who you are. This is the dwarven weapons. If you see how they look here, this is actually probably the easiest way just to show you how the weapons look, is just to do this. And they just have some fine detailing. They look good. I wouldn't say, actually, the dwarven weapons, I wouldn't say they've changed a lot. They do have a nice sheen to them. I think that's due to some other mods I have. They have a little bit of a reflective edge that maybe they don't always have. But nonetheless, of course, this is AMidianBorn, so it may be adding its own little effect as well. I think these look good. I think some of the other weapons look better. But the dwarven weapons, they still look dwarven, but they look like they have some finer detail to them. That's just, in my opinion, if you ask me, they look nice. So we're just going to walk through these weapons, because it won't matter if it's a guy or a girl. If you can see the weapons, then you can see what they look like. And the iron weapons are affected, but the iron armor is not. Now that's according to the mod itself. And I do think these handles and stuff look better. I do think I'm not sure that the blades are affected so much, but it seems like the handles, the grips, the hilts are affected. Now this whole sword looks like it's affected. But they don't all look like that. Now this looks like it's affected totally. Now I don't use a lot of the iron maces though, so. Now the iron sword, to me, the hilt looks like the main change, but I do believe there's a little more detail on the blade. It just, you're going to have to decide for yourself on some of these things. For some of these things, like here, to me, mainly it's the shaft of the weapon that looks like it's changed the most. And then like the actual cudgel part at the end looks pretty much the same. I don't see a huge difference. I think these just look a little more detailed, like the etching and stuff shows up a little better. They do look nice though. I'm not putting any of it down, so don't take that the wrong way. And some of these things can only be crafted here at the Skyforge, which is annoying, but that's life. That's why I don't use a lot of things like that. It's like, well, if I can only craft it there, then But you can see how they look, and see if you think there's a significant difference. AMidianBorn, my only real comparison to it is kind of Old Kingdom, because it too goes through and it retextures things, but it doesn't really make like tremendously huge changes. I think AMidianBorn does better changes, more detailed changes, I guess. But that's about the only thing I know to compare it to right off. And we're in the Orcish weapons. So just bear with me. I just want to give you a chance to see everything. And this may not always be the best, but this at least gives you a chance to look at the weapon. There's a little, you'll notice I've got a little shine on these weapons. Now some of that could come from my mod that does the cube maps. It may or may not be coming from the AMidianBorn mod, so you may or may not get all of that little reflective shine, but you'll still get all this little detail in their texture that looks very good. So it just depends on what you like. Now the silver sword is changed, and I think you can see it. I think you can really see the change in the weapon. That's Penny's sword of choice. For whatever reason, that's just what I did with her. Here are steel arrows, and I think you can easily tell a difference in the quality of that texture. That's quite good. And all the steel weapons really look like they were done very well. If you look at these, they look nice and real detailed. They may be some of the best looking weapons in the game now, you know, in this. I would like to see them go through and do the ebony weapons and the Daedric weapons. I bet they would make them look really even nicer. But I admit that those weapons got more attention than some of these. But look how nice that looks. That just looks super good. Super good. The sword, it looks good. It definitely does. It has some better detail, but it's still that sword. It's not that great. But look at that, and look at the detail on that. That looks really good. Really nice. They made these, I feel like they made the steel weapons really stand out and look super. So if you wanted to use the steel weapons, you know, they would definitely look great for you. So this was about all the weapons. There are some other special weapons, but that's about all of them. Now, apparel-wise, I had her just put on her regular stuff. Matter of fact, we should probably take some of that off. Let's take the thing, the compass, and the necklace off. The boots, the gloves, and all that we'll replace as we go. Alright, so we'll try some different things here. Oh, I did get the fur armors. Good. I thought I did that, but you know, sometimes I forget. Alright, so we're going to do the blade armor. Just get a quick look at this. Now, I think it looks really nice. We may not even need to look at a guy, because there's not going to be huge differences. I removed anything that would have changed this. This armor is shaped just like it is right out of the box. I removed her armor replacer for the Pyrocast female bodies. I turned that off so we would see this pure in the way it's supposed to look and not be interfered with. So, you know, and you know the guy version doesn't look that much different than the girls. But nonetheless, so we did that. Let's see, let's try some bone mold. Bone mold, I'm going to tell you, it's hard to make the bone mold armor look good, but they did make a good effort, and it does look better. Something about the way they did the color texture, it does look better. Alright? I still don't like the whole diaper thing. I don't know who thought that was a good look. That is just so dumb. But anyway, that's always going to bother me. But they did a much better job here. You know, in there you just add a upper diaper with the lower diaper, and I just think that looks so. But whatever, it's all right. It's not nice enough to be decorative. That's my problem with it. It doesn't look nice enough to be decorative. It just looks dumb. Anyway, but the rest of the bone mold armor, if you look, especially if you look at just the plain bone mold armor, and if you could get rid of the diaper thing and just have bone mold armor, that would actually look pretty decent. You know, it would look buggy. You know, like you're a bug. Not that I like bugs, but it would look better anyway. So then we have Dwarven, which Dwarven is going to look nice. That's all there is to it. Look at that. That looks great. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. This has its own cool look. And the way they've textured it here looks very nice. Now, let's see. Ebony. Ebony is going to look pretty much like Ebony. There is the male there. I think it looks very nice, you know. Now I have to tell you, I've got a cube map mod that may or may not be causing some extra reflection here, so I don't know if you'll get that. But still, the coloring and everything looks really good, in my opinion. Hopefully that will show up for you in the video. Now, this is the male. What I really like about the way they did the male is they really made the male have that nice purplish, dark purple color. They made it so that it actually looks good. The male usually just kind of looks like junk, honestly. It never looks right to me. Well, there's an exception to that, but that's due to a mod. But normally the ebony male doesn't really look that good, but they've made it look nice here. They really have. They've made it look very good and still looks like it fits with the vanilla game. So they've made it look really good. Good job there. Now this is the Elven. Now the Elven, I love the fact that the Elven is a darker Elven. Let's see, what did we get here? We need a helmet. Where's the shield? Let's throw the shield on. Then we'll look at the other stuff. I love the darker Elven like this. I think this is great. I have Serana wearing it in one of my games. Anyway, I think it's, I don't know. I've already said I love it. I can't help it. I wish they had changed the weapons to match. They didn't. But that, I mean, that's just super. I don't care if you're a guy or a girl. That's just great right there. Let's see if we can show you the little variations. You know how it is with the Elven. We have the gilded armor, which, honestly, you can't tell any difference. It's still the same. I don't understand why we have that. The stat is slightly better with the gilded, isn't it? Oh, wait, maybe not. Hold on. Yeah, it is. It's slightly better. Okay, then we have the light. The light version is not significantly different and still looks good. And I like it. The light version looks cool. So then now we're going to get into some fur armor. So let me give her some bracers, the helmet, and the shoes. We're going to drop the shield for a moment. Now let's show some of the fur armors. There's this one. And what you're really looking for is the color, the texture of the fur armor. You can see it looks darker. It looks normal or more normal, more natural, I guess. It looks good. And there's just a few different variations. You know, there always is. And the fur is junk armor, I know. But here's what it's going to look like. If you don't have any other mod that affects it, it should look like this. And I'm just trying to show you as much as I can. I realize most people probably don't care that much about the fur, but nonetheless, it's something to look at. It's something that we can take a peek at and see what we think. Now here is a nice sets. So this is the, I'm going to call it the normal glass armor for Skyrim for this mod. Now, the helmet, to me, the helmet looks a little bit off, like maybe it got mixed in with something else, but mostly it's okay. But if you'll notice, there's a bit of a bluish tinge to the fin there. I think that's probably a mistake. Let's check something out here. Yeah, see how I think the color is a little off on the fin and the front piece. But other than that, it looks nicely recolored. It's still fairly basic glass armor. I don't see anything uber about it, but I mean the colors are nice. So let's move on now. This is the gold ebony. The gold ebony, I think, is a nice touch. I really liked. They did a couple of variations of ebony armor, which I liked. And it just has a golden kind of sheen to it. It's not truly, totally gold. But I think it adds a nice touch. Like I said, I like it. It gives you some variety. That's what I like about it. Whether or not you actually love the color or stick with it or not, but I like the idea that they gave you some variety to play around with. It's always nice to have some variety. And this is the hide. Again, I like the way it looks. It looks more realistic and dark, like hide armor should probably look. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at some of the Imperial stuff. Now that's the normal. Let me get the shield for us. Here we go. So this is all like the heavy Imperial. And you can see that the texture has been changed somewhat. Not drastically from vanilla though. I mean, it has been changed though. It does look better, but perhaps not super drastically. I think you might see a little more difference in the light version. I'm not sure that shield really changed much. But the leather looks a little darker. It looks like they made that look a little better, if you ask me. Just my opinion. So, okay, improved bone mold. Again, with the diaper business, you know, I'm never going to be over that. I'm sorry. I'm just that way. But, still, it's better than a lot of versions I see. Okay, this is an iron shield, which they did change. Now, I will tell you that this mod says it did not change the iron armor, and I believe them because I looked through. Let me go over to the forge here. Oh, I'm going to have to bother Greymane. Yorl, get out of the way. No, I don't want to talk to you. Get out. Get off the forge. Let me have it. No, I don't want to talk to you.
I ain't much for talking.
I don't want to talk to you. Good. But if you look at the iron armor, the banded, and like the banded iron shield, these do not look like they were really changed. And if you go down to, let's skip the guard stuff. See, these have not been changed. These all look the same as the vanilla game. I don't see any difference. Well, now the weapons were changed. We know that. But, so for some reason, they changed the shield. And the shield looks better. But the rest of this doesn't... let me go back to like the boots. The rest of this was not changed as near as I can tell. Or if it was changed, they didn't include it in their list in the description. Okay, so if it was changed, they didn't include it, and it didn't look like it was changed significantly when I was looking at it in the forge, so I did not include it in our show. Okay, so just wanted to explain that. There's a reason. Now here is the Nordic carved armor. Now, I think it looks really good, and the shield looks super nice. But it looks good. It does. It looks really, really very nice. I like the way they darkened it up a little bit. Again, this is reminiscent of Old Kingdom, where some of the armors are darkened up, and they just look better that way. Don't worry about my red guard stuff. It's fine. There again, darker, more like natural leather and hide kind of things would be. They would be darker like that. That makes sense. And we have the horn. Now, the only difference with the horn is you get the big horn, right? You see that? The big horn. The horn on the shoulder. Yep. Now, here's the silver ebony armor. Again, I appreciate the fact that they give you some variety. And like I said, it's not totally silver, but it just has a silver hue to it, or sheen. And I think it's very nice. Very nice. Alright, so steel armor. We're going to try these. Let's try these one at a time. Oh, they've mixed in. This is steel glass, which we will look at in a minute. Let's see. What do I have here? I have... let's drop the gauntlets and the helmet and the shield. Alright, that's the steel armor and the boots. Like, here's a steel helmet. And then that's the horned helmet. You're familiar with those. I don't think that's any. This is the Imperial gauntlets. But here's the Nordic gauntlets, which go more with those boots, I believe. So you get this kind of look, which looks good, I think. And the darker furry part, or leathery part, I think that looks better. Let's see, what else have we got here? Oh, we have the other steel armor with a little more shoulder. A little more shoulderage. I think that looks good, looks better. Let's see, is there something else? I don't want to get down into the steel plate, so we're going to stop there with the steel. We're going to come back here and we're going to do the steel glass. I think it's worth looking at. And the difference here is, you'll notice this is a little more of the Elder Scrolls Online look, where it's more like glass with silvery. It's hard for me to say. Let me show you the other glass for just a minute. This'll make it clear, and I'll be able to perhaps speak about it in a reasonable way. Let's go to the glass armor, and you can see the difference. See how that's kind of green and gold? It's got kind of a brass or whatever, brass or yellowish gold look. And this goes more in line with the other. It goes with more of a steel, or you could say silver, but I agree with them when they say steel. I think it goes with more of a glass and steel mix look. See the gray steel on the shield? It looks really good. And that's just a retexture. It doesn't really change the shape very much, if at all. I can't tell any difference myself right off, but it does give you a different color, and it looks cool. So nothing wrong with that. So let's go down to the steel plate. The steel plate armor, and steel plate boots, and steel plate gauntlets, and the helmet, and we'll do a steel shield here. Okay, so here we go. Now that's what that is going to look like, and I think that looks very good. It looks more dark and rustic, which it probably should. And the crazy fur loincloth has always gotten me. It's kind of funny, but it's not bad. They've made it look pretty good. So these are like the Imperial shin boots, if you wanted those, because you can have the Imperial boots and gauntlets and do like the steel helm. Let's back up here and do like the steel armor. That's really more for the Imperial look, though, rather than for this look. But nonetheless, if we go back to the Imperial, let's see if we can make this look better. Let's go back to Imperial. Let's not do boots and bracers. Let's leave those alone. These really fit more with this, though. See, they kind of go with this outfit the most. That's what they're supposed to be for, in my opinion, just due to that style they did. And I'm not even sure. Let's see, what is the difference in those and these? Like in these bracers, I don't see any difference in these boots. I don't see any difference. It's the same model. It's the same thing. So I'm not sure why there's two different versions. Are the stats better on these? Let's see. This is 12 and 12. Let's go down and see what the stats are just for fun. I haven't really looked at this in a long time, so I don't remember. 14. You get a little better if you do Steel Imperial. I guess you get a little better. The gauntlets are a little better. Where's the boots? Is it the shin boots? Yeah, they're a little better. So they're a little better armor-wise if you do those. They look exactly the same. Alright. So, let's see. So we did the plate. Let's move on. Let's look at the Stormcloak Officer. And let's get rid of that shield, which was a mistake on my part because it's way back up here. My goodness. Okay. Alright. So this is the Stormcloak Officer. Now, the girl always has her legs exposed, which is just whatever. I don't think the guy... Doesn't the guy get pants? You know what? We may just check that out. I don't know. Well, we don't really have to change over, though. I think just from seeing the colors and the textures on this, you'll get the idea. And you'll know if you like this or not. So the last thing I have is the wolf. I can't speak. Is the wolf armor. The wolf armor looks really nice. Look at that. Doesn't that makes more sense than what you normally see. This dark looks really good. So I don't think you're going to see any significant difference on the guys as opposed to the girls. So I was thinking about doing both, but in this case, I don't see a reason to really do that. I don't think you're going to see any difference. The main thing to look at is the colors. These are all going to be vanilla shaped because I don't have anything that changes the shape. So anyway, I'm going to load up the mod and I'll show you that. Alright, so AMidianBorn Book of Silence is 622 megabytes. Let's just go ahead and round up. It's by Jarl Ballin 89. That's the person that ported it. And it was created by Cabal 120 and the AMidianBorn team. Now, I know for certain that it changes these. These that are on the list, at least every one that I looked at really was changed. You can definitely see a big difference in some of them. And some of the weapons and all look really great. And the armors and stuff. I may not be saying this correctly. The retextures, the way things look really nice. I think I mentioned just a few of them where I didn't see much difference. But most of them look very good. You know, it just depends. My only issue is having that much space available for something that really is just going to recolor the armors mainly. Now it seems to provide more for the weapons actually. The weapons actually look better than in a way to me. And but you don't get to really see the weapons that much when you're in the game playing. I don't know. It's a lot of space. But what it does is great, and I like the variants, like the ebony variants. I like the glass variant. I like a lot of the work here is really nice and really good. It's just the mod is really big for what it does. It's really huge. Of course, there are a lot of other mods that I like that are big too. So, it's a choice we have to make. We have to decide what's important to us and what we want to do. For my purposes, it's a very good mod, and it kind of reminds me of Old Kingdom, but like an upgraded version of Old Kingdom, and that's not to put down Old Kingdom. I don't mean that way. It's just there's definite differences, and I just think I like this one better. So this is really, really very good. Like, look at the wolf armor. If you see through the menu here, the wolf armor looks so good. And most of these do look really excellent. The Blades armor looked super nice. I mean, bone mold, you can only do so much for bone mold. I think most of the times we should just throw that away. Unless somebody really fixes that to look nice, there's just not a lot you can do with it. I know I'm bad, but that's true. To my mind, subjectively, that's true. The weapons look so nice. Like the silver sword, even that Penny's going to be using, looks so nice. There's so many things about this that are really good, and we didn't look at everything. I want you to realize we looked at maybe 80%. We didn't look at staves. We didn't look at a lot of the special weapons. So there's things I didn't show. We didn't do Savior's Hide. Let's see, we didn't do the Dragon Priest stuff. So those things, you'll have to look at and see what you think. It really looks nice, but it's really huge, and it's a trade-off. You just have to decide what's important to you. I guess that's all I'm getting at, okay? But it is very nice, and if you like this, I mean, definitely it is good. It looks good. It will make armors and weapons look very good in your game. I guess that's the final say, is that it's a very good mod, and it will make things look really good in your game. Okay, the things it touches look really nice. Okay, all right, so thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later.